Hey guys, thanks for joining us. My name's Trevor Unthan, of course, from circusconditioning.com, and Hannah's agreed to help me out today. Thanks, Hannah.
No worries, thank you for having me.
So what we're going to talk about in this first video is looking at how our connective tissue in our body actually helps for movement, but also in times of injury or times of dysfunction, it can also cause certain problems and certain restrictions in the body. So initially we'll look at what we call the superficial backline, and the superficial backline is this one length of tissue which actually goes all the way from your toes up to the nose over the back of the head. And you would have seen in one of the other videos the actual line of that. So Hannah, if you could grab the band, and I'm going to get you to face that way, please. And I'm going to get you to put that under your right foot. Good, and I'm going to pass you the band up the top there. How's that? So the band here represents the superficial backline. The superficial backline goes all the way from the plantar fascia up the back of the Achilles tendon, gastrocnemius, and it actually doesn't stop there. It actually continues up the hamstrings, over the sacrotuberous ligament at the sacrum, continues up the erector spinae, all the way up the neutral line, up the back of the skull, into the fascia over the top of the head via the scalp, and all the way to this ridge here above our eyes at our eyebrows. Obviously, we're not demonstrating that here, but this gives you an idea that this band represents this one single length of connective tissue in the body. So Hannah, if you could just please demonstrate a forward bend. So you could imagine then a forward bend, what we'd call a uttanasana in yoga, or just to touch your toes, is actually controlled by this superficial backline. So how tight you are in the hamstrings, for example, will actually affect how much movement you'll get in the lower back, and similarly how it'll affect how much movement you'll get in the thoracic spine, in the neck. The plantar fascia, as you would have noticed in some of the demonstrations before, will really affect this whole length. So if anywhere in this line gets caught, gets tight, gets injured, it can affect other areas. So a really good example of that is, let's say Hannah runs and she feels some tightness in her calf. So Hannah, I'm going to just pick up a bit of tension here. So this would demonstrate some tightness in the calf. So Hannah, if you could do the same forward bend, how does that feel?
It's a lot tighter. It's harder to bend forward.
As you can see there, it's more difficult for Hannah to bend forward. And just try that one more time, Hannah. So this tightness, this kink in the connective tissue in this back line, even though it might be in the hamstrings, it might have this repercussion in the lower back, in that you might feel some tightness in the lower back, but in fact, it's actually coming from the calf. Similarly, if it's the plantar fascia, if I just create a bit of tension down here in the Achilles or the plantar fascia, if you could please repeat, Hannah, the same thing applies. She's going to feel some tightness going forward, but the tightness this time is coming from her foot or the plantar fascia. And similarly, if I pull here and we create some tension in the lumbar spine, the thoracolumbar junction, how's that, Hannah? It's testing you out, isn't it? So what that really demonstrates there, you can let go there, Hannah, thank you. So with that exercise, and you could use some tubing, you could use some TheraBand, you could use a big lacky band that was all lacky bands tied together. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's a great demonstration, and it's a great way to visualize that, hey, it's not these individual muscles that are causing a lack of movement or causing some great movement if we have great elasticity in those lines. It actually might be an area that's far removed. And that's what the myofascial lines are all about, in that we're really looking at the body in a holistic fashion. Thanks, Hannah.
No worries, thank you.